Good evening. I thought I'd take this time to make a little video about my bags I put on my Triumph bobber. They came out really nice, at least I think they did. And I wanted to put some bags on here for a while. I did have these boxes on there for a couple years. They mounted on that bracket there. It's on the frame, and it worked out really well. And I just I don't know, wanted to change things a little bit, so I always wanted some leather bags on here, but I wanted them a little lower than the factory ones that you see with the brackets that mount on the frame. So I had to make some brackets to mount these on the swing arm, and I think, I went round and round. I was going to weld. I was going to take the swing arm off and weld some ears on here, and then onto here as well, and make a setup. And I thought, well, why don't I just use some clamps with some Delrin inserts and mount some plates on the side, and then see how solid it is. And it is extremely solid. You could pick the bike up with those brackets, and I put them on with 4 bolts on each bracket, and that way if a bolt comes loose, it's not going to fall off. Like if I just had 2 bolts in each one, the one would loosen up, and then the other one loosens up as well, right? When you're pinching something like that. So yeah, that's the only thing I wasn't crazy about this bike, is there's nowhere to put anything. And I know it's not like some bike you would ride across the country on, but gee whiz, when you ride to work, at least you're gonna need somewhere to put your lunch, or you want to ride around looking ridiculous with a backpack on. When you're when you're an adult, you just probably shouldn't wear a backpack, right? So at least I don't. And when you're in your 50s or 60s, it's time to not wear a backpack anymore. So I didn't want to wear that. I didn't want to, sometimes I load my pockets down in my jacket, and I don't like how that feels. So just it's a nice place to, you can keep extra pair of gloves or your jacket liner, and maybe some snacks. I even put like in these boxes, I could fit a little gallon fuel cell in there for extra gas. You got a little tiny tank on this thing. So yeah, so it just makes it just a better. You hold your credentials for your bike. If you stop at a yard sale and you find something that you just never see again, and you got a place to put it, right? I do store a backpack in there, in case I've been desperate and I have to carry something in a backpack. Like I've even on this thing, I've even brought home my dog food from the store one time. Just loaded everything down and brought it home. But anyways, get back to these brackets. So you got to pinch your swing arm and your fender bracket, and then down the bottom there. I don't know if you can see down there. There's that screw there, and that goes through the lug on the bottom, and also has a spacer down there that spaces it out a little bit, so you're not smashing it up against your bracket, right? So it's pinching it between that spacer and the nut on the other side. And then over here, to make clearance for that bracket there, I had to relieve the chain guard a little bit. I'm going to have to repaint that, and I just had to relieve that. I had to take maybe an inch off of it and angle it down. You can't even tell when I take them off. You can't really tell that I even did it. But I wanted to do it this way just so I don't modify anything, and I could just take these off and you know, ride it without it, or if I ever sell the bike. A lot of people maybe don't want a bunch of mods, you know, and just take this stuff off, and it'll be just like it was at the showroom. The other thing I'd like to do is put a set of pipes on this. I'm going to have to probably make a set because I don't see the ones I want, and I'm going to keep the cat. And what you have, if you know these bike at all, you have a pipe down here that goes into your, for lack of a better terms, Y pipe or X pipe, I guess you call it. So it's a right angle there. So I think I'm going to get another set of stock pipes and cut it here, and then weld a set of fishtails on this, and then they'll go extend out past the bag just a little bit, and then I can lower these lower. I can make the bags maybe 1.5 inches lower. I think it would even look better. And then the pipes, of course, you know, they'll look better as well. With these pipes don't only extend about halfway, actually, to the beginning of the bag right there. So I took some heat measurements off of the pipes while it's running, you know, revving it up and whatever. It's like 170. So I think my bags are safe back there. At 170. Going down the road, it's probably even less than that. At the back of the pipe, and these collectors have so much mass to them that just by the time it gets out to the end there's no heat at all. I think most of the heat gets dissipated off the exhaust in the catalyst there. But anyway, I'm going to leave that. I know a lot of guys take that off and put an X pipe in there without the cat, but I'm going to leave it stock, and that way you don't mess your tune up too bad. And I know you can change all that, but anyways, that's my bags, right? I'll show you my setup to make this stuff. You're going to need some tools, obviously, but or you need a friend that's a machinist. That would be even better. So I have a little shop here in my garage, and I'll go show you my setup. There's my mill. The old Bridgeport M head. It's probably from the 50s. I'm going to guess. I don't know when they stopped making the M head. It's a smaller head. It's almost like a tool room mill. However, it still has this big casting. So to move it, you can't just put this in your station wagon and bring it home. You need to trailer it, and then you need a way to get it off a trailer. It probably still weighs 1,500 pounds or so, but it's a nice mill. It has a small table on it. It's only I think a 3-foot table, but it serves me well. It doesn't take up a lot of space. And I got the sander over there, my saw, and I got a little lathe here, and that this little lathe, I probably have had that for going on 25-30 years probably, and the mill, I probably have had that 25 years, I think. So I had all this stuff, and I go by when I got married. I know I had all this when I was married, when I got married, and I've been married for almost 21 years. So anyway, so that's my setup. I also have a buffer over there, buffer grinder set up that you can wheel outside. I have a little welder, and it's a mess in here, but you get the idea. And here's the bags. Just wanted to show you guys a close-up. They're really nice bags. They are smaller than this Heritage Softail bags. You've probably seen them. They would look ridiculous on this bike because they're just too big. They're too fat. And the Softail, the Heritage is a bigger bike. They're like 700-pound motorcycle, and their bags are really nice too, but they're just too big for this bike. So I was looking for a medium-sized set of bags, and I didn't want to spend $700 on them. They're just, when you start looking and you realize how much they cost when you go to a couple places. I didn't want cheap bags either. I wanted nice looking bags. I actually found these on eBay. They're a company called Outriders, and it just says Outriders Houston on the back of these things. And I looked them up, and there's zero information on any place in Houston that made that was called Outriders. So they're really cool. They got lots of studs on them. Nice heavy buckles. The leather is like an 1/8 inch thick. It's a super thick leather, and they stand up on themselves. They don't sag. So I'm pretty happy with the bags. I think they'll last a long time. Probably I might be able to put some supports in them. They actually have a support underneath here that's really cool. I don't know if you can see that under there, but that supports the bottom of the bag, and you don't see it because of all this fringe. I'm not a big fan of the fringe, but the bags were so nice. I just thought I could live with the fringe just because the bags look so cool. They're really like the perfect size for the bob, or at least I think so. They just, I think they're just going to look really good. So the only other thing I got to do is I take all this off again, and I'm going to round the edges on these to make those brackets look smaller, and they're still going to be big and beefy. But when you round the edges, it just makes everything a little less sharp, obviously, and it makes it look smaller. And I'm going to paint everything black, or maybe have it anodized, and you won't even see them back there. I was going to lighten the plates up and take some material out of them, but then I thought, well, once I paint these black or get them black anodized, they're just going to look like the back of the bag. You might not notice them that much. So we'll try that first, and if I think they're too heavy, I'll take them off and hollow out. Take some material out, like maybe mill a triangle out of here, and just take some weight off of them. I don't think it's going to change my suspension too much. I mean, anybody that's ridden a Softail or even ridden one of these knows that they don't ride that great. They don't have much suspension. So of course, adding weight to your swing arm is going to make it maybe even a little worse. I don't know. I'm not too worried about it. I think the swing arm's plenty beefy enough. It's going to hold it. I think my brackets are going to hold up. The only thing I might do down the road is maybe put helicoils in the threads to make the threads stronger. So anyhow, this video's gone on long enough. So I hope you have a blessed night, and I hope you get some ideas for your bobber, and get some bags on it. Have somebody make you some brackets, or make your own. Maybe make some brackets like that. I mean, that was a good setup. It lasts me, I mean, it's still fine. I've had them on there for a couple years. The nice thing about those is you can get them in and out of them at a stoplight, even with gloves on. I could get, like, if I needed to, pop something out of there, like, out of the bags while you're at a stoplight. Now I'm going to be fooling around with these straps. But anyways, I just, that's how it is. I had enough with that look, and I just wanted to change it up a little bit. So anyways, have a good night. Thanks.